All right, Aaron Parker, Parker Safes and Vaults. We just got through, well, we're almost done anyway, installing this American Security Inswing vault door. And most of the time, these Inswing doors just kill us. They're hard to install. You have to take them off of the hinges, and it's just been a nightmare for us. But kind of figured out a new way to do it, and I wanted to let you guys know how we're doing it. So normally when we go into a, well, let me just start with these. So what happens is the anchors they provide are just wood lags, right? So they're just smaller wood lags, and they don't accommodate a block wall, which to me is the only place to put a vault door like this. But that aside, what we normally have to do is, let's see here. If we start at the top, okay, there's two holes there to anchor. Working your way down here, two more, and then we get to the threshold and there's two more, and that's the same on both sides of the door jamb. So what we normally have to do is drill through the steel. You see we have a concrete anchor in there right now, but we have to drill through the steel with like a 3/8 inch bit, and then, or a 1/4 inch bit, 5/16, something like that, so that we can drill on through the concrete with a 1/4 inch concrete bit, okay? We use that Milwaukee, that thing's a beast, by the way. But that way we can accommodate these guys. And these are made by Simpson Strong Tie. They're 1/4 inch by 3.5. And so we put one of those in each of these holes, all right? And the other thing we did was clamp this side once we got it plumb. And we like to use a longer level. A 4-foot level won't quite do it when you're installing doors. So we use like a 6-foot level, and it's hard to see there, but yeah. So your bubble should be right inside, you should be dead on there. And if you do everything both ways, right, plumb both ways, so inside and out and in front to back, that'll save you a lot of hassle with your bolt works movement later on. So get that right, clamp it in place, and then start anchoring and make sure nothing moves. All right. But anyway, so, ideally maybe we'd have bigger anchors in here rather than those 1/4 inch. They're actually like a 3/8. But you drill a 1/4 inch hole, and then you run, I'm saying the threads on them are like 3/8. So the threads cut their own groove into the concrete here, okay? But if we try to go any bigger than that, then what happens is these little decorative caps, which are these guys, they pop into these holes just to kind of make things a little prettier and dress everything up when we're done, okay? Well, if we went any bigger, then your socket, all right, like the socket just wouldn't fit in there if it was much bigger than that. So I can't really use like a 3/8 inch concrete anchor. But anyway, this is the strike side of the door. So this side is pretty standard. It's kind of like an outswing door. But if we come in here, generally what we have to do, and this is going to get a little hard to see here, but generally what we have to do is take the door off of the hinges, which is just a bear. It's just a nightmare. I mean, like, we've come up with all these little tools to do that with. This is, it looks just like a bar clamp, but really it's kind of specialized because I've welded a nut onto the threads there, and then we use something like this, and that'll go up on this top hinge. If you can picture that clamp up here on this top hinge to drive down. You take a set screw out normally, and then you drive through a hole up here. You drive that punch with the clamp by turning that with a ratchet, and then that'll drive that hinge pin out of there, sort of like a bearing puller kind of an idea. And that kind of works because there's no room up here to drive these out with a hammer. It's like 4 inches or so. So it's impossible to drive them out. It's really hard. But what we did was we cut down, let me shut this door all the way. Okay, so now we've shut the door. And so the problem is that all the bolt works are here. I know that's hard to see, but anyway, all the bolt works are in this bigger section here, this thicker section of the door. And they only give you just a little bit of room to work to drill these holes. But my son came up with the idea of, where's it at? Okay, of cutting down concrete anchors to various lengths so that, you know, you could get it in there. So you kind of have to start it and then run this one and then take this one out and go to a bigger one and then take it out, take that one out and rechuck it and go to the full size one so that you can eventually drill your holes all the way through and into the concrete. And then it's just a matter of, then you can use a ratchet or, you know, socket or even sometimes an impact once you get going. But then you can use that to just put these anchors in. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, so there we go. And so the little decorative buttons aren't in these yet, but hard to see. Anyway, there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of these. And we've got them all in now, and we never had to take the door off. And it turned like an 8 or 9 hour ordeal sometimes into just I don't know, hour. So I think we're also going to look at maybe a right angle drill, like another Milwaukee right angle battery powered drill. And that might help us not to have to cut the drill bits down, but cutting the bits down and just running them in series, like short to medium to full length, that did the trick. And man, wish I'd have thought of that sooner. But I didn't think of it at all, so how about that? Thanks to my son Morgan, that was his idea, and it worked like a charm. We're basically just cleaning up. I've just got a little bit of cleanup work to do, and this is their emergency egress. So you pull that out, and then you can turn the handle. If you could do it all at the same time if you're holding the phone. But anyway, pull that out, and then you can turn the handle and let yourself out. Let me see if I can do that with this phone. Oh, I'm stuck. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So there we go. But I mean, I like these doors a lot. It's a full 1/2 inch plate of steel right here with an 1 1/8 of concrete type stuff. They're proprietary dry light in there. So it's a heck of a door, but we just had a terrible time in the past installing these things. So I'm really happy that this worked out like it did. And the sun's still up. Last time we did one of these, we started at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were finishing up with headlamps, and it was a big old mess. And I think we got out of there at 8:30 at night. So we're still gonna run some shims and tighten everything up and fire caulk this gap, but we're basically done. So I thought I'd show you what we did there, and certainly a lot easier than the old method. You know, we came up with these punches and things to try to punch these, those barrel, you know. So in the past, you would have to drive these pins out. So you take the set screw out, and then you just beat on this until you've just about marred everything up. So we used to tape cardboard and, tape cardboard up and extra tape, so that, because there's no room to work, you can't get a sledgehammer. It's so tight, it's just almost impossible. But I came up with these hardened steel, these are super hard, hardened steel punches. I basically ground them down to fit. And that was what we were gonna do. And then you can imagine this one, trying to do this up here. You can see there's no room left. You just can't do it. And that's where that clamp thing came into play. But anyway, that's it. Much easier. I wish they would redesign this, but I think with a right angle drill, shorter drill bits, and a little creativity, these can be easy to install. So, woohoo! I'm really stoked. Hey, thanks for having a look. If you have any questions there, just leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. And appreciate you having a look. Cheers. Okay, one little thing that I forgot to mention on this last install, as you can see here, we've got this jamb that's exposed, and that's not normal, but this jamb was so thick it doesn't accommodate this inner piece here. So generally this would go in first, and then it would go, you would put it up from inside here, all right? And that would cover all of this and go in behind this. And so it would overlap by you know, a little bit if it was like an 8-inch wall. And then when you drill these holes, you drill through both of those pieces, all right? So you drill through this one, or we had to drill through this one. If you're going into concrete, you got to drill through both. There is a little hole in here to start, or, you know, behind this little button, there's a hole to get started, but it's too small to accommodate the concrete anchors that we use. So you had to drill through, open those up and drill through both pieces, and that holds that in place. So you still kind of clamp these around the door, clamp the inner here and then the outer here, and clamp those. And then when you drill all these and fasten those, that's what holds that in. But it's more like a decorative piece. There's really not a lot of structural necessity for it, but it does make things look better. But I think what they're going to do here is just trim this out, and it'll look fine. We've had to do that a few times in the past, but you can run, you know, there's plenty of room here. This is almost a full inch, so you can run a 3/4 inch board up here and then return it around this corner, make it look all pretty. But anyway, that's why that piece isn't on, in case you were wondering from the last little segment there. All right, we'll catch you later.